How can you become an outstanding performer? I'm Terry Brock with terrybrock.com. Today's world is increasingly white-hot competitive. I mean, you've seen it. You've got to really perform more. Organizations are asking you to do more with less resources. If you're in an organization and you're working in your career trying to get ahead, you know that you've got to work harder than ever, smarter than ever. If you're an entrepreneur, and really most of us are today, even if you're working for someone else, you think of yourself as the entrepreneur that you need to get out and produce and get results. So how do you become that outstanding performer in what you do? Well, there's certain principles that have worked for many throughout the years. And one of the ways I've found that we can tap into it is by reading books. When you're reading books, you're getting the best focused brain power of really, really smart people, many of whom are no longer with us, and you're able to get their wisdom. Particularly those books that have lasted a long time and have received a lot of rave reviews from others are ones that get my attention. One that I was just reading recently falls in that category is a book by the late great Peter Drucker, outstanding genius in management consulting that he was. His book called Managing Oneself is a classic. It's a very short book, just about 70-some pages, and you can read it very quickly, but it is just chock full of great ideas on how to get ahead, how to manage yourself, and how to really enhance your performance. In that book, he gave a secret that I want to share with you today that can help you a lot. Let's take a look at that book. Let's take a look at what he says initially here. I'm looking at this on my iPhone. And you'll see it says, first and foremost, concentrate on your strengths. Put yourself where your strengths can produce results. Secondly, work on improving your strengths. And third, discover where your intellectual arrogance is causing disturbing arrogance and overcome it. You see, where it's disabling, it's causing disabling, and overcome that. That's the key. I particularly like this, what he said back here. First and foremost, concentrate on your strengths. Do what you do best. Instead of trying to do everything, you're not going to be able to do it. Like, for instance, I know that I'm not really particularly good with accounting, although that's something I had to strengthen in my MBA program. You might remember from some of the stories I've told before, I had to really work on that so that I could get through the MBA program. You have to enhance those skills. And Drucker talks about this also, of enhancing those skills that are necessary that you might not know as much about. You really want to work on those, but also improve your strengths. That is a key. So instead of trying to do everything, find out what it is that you do best. Then work on those areas. That's going to give you the ability to get ahead. And then later in the book, he says this, I thought that was very, very good, that what are my strengths? How do I perform? And what are my values? And then they can decide where they belong. You've got to focus on that. You see, successful careers, this is really good. Successful careers are not planned. They develop when people are prepared for opportunities because, here's the key phrase, notice this, they know their strengths, their method of work, and their values. Values are most important. Knowing where one belongs can transform an ordinary person, hardworking and competent, but otherwise mediocre, into an outstanding performer. You want to be that outstanding performer, the one who gets ahead, the one who does what is necessary. Focus on your strengths. This is something that Marcus Buckingham has talked about in many of his excellent books, kind of reiterating Drucker's principles that he talks about, and really many people throughout the centuries have talked about that. Focus on what you do best. Don't worry about the other things that are not as important. Get skills up to level. Like, for instance, you do need to drive. Well, you need, in today's world, for most of us, learn how to drive a car. You don't have to be the best driver in the world. You might not necessarily try to become a professional driver. Those are for other more competent people in driving. But learn enough so you can get back and forth. Learn the basics, but really focus your time on those areas that are best for you. What do you think? How have you been able to get the success that you have, and what have you seen works best? I'd like to hear from you. You can drop me a note. Matter of fact, my Twitter handle is @TerryBrock. That's Terry and BROCK. It's the last name for those of you listening on audio, @TerryBrock. Or drop me an email. Always love hearing from you. My email address, terry@terrybrock.com. Hey, I'll look forward to hearing from you. And remember, concentrate on your strengths. Focus on those and keep developing them.